Hi, I'm Rose Edmondson and welcome to my video on how to use text in science. This short video is going to give you my top 5 tips for choosing books to use in your classroom for science. So let's get started. Tip 1, don't just go with the first book that's recommended. Social media is full of suggestions for books to use in the classroom at the moment, which is fantastic to see. But how do you know which book is best for you to use with your class, and why should we even bother to choose? Well, you know your children best. You know which texts they have explored in literacy lessons, you know where their interests lie, and most importantly, you know the wider curriculum for your school. All of this needs to be taken on board because so many books can do different things. Top tip 2, mix it up. When using text in science, it's tempting to always go for non-fiction. And don't get me wrong, there's so many beautiful non-fiction books out there at the moment, so why would you need anything else? But variety is key. There are so many amazing poetry books, graphic novels, and picture books, which can all be linked into your science lessons. So make sure you try to encourage the use of as many text types as you can, so the children can start to make wider links with science and beyond. Top tip 3, science shouldn't be siloed. Links to the wider curriculum are incredibly important, and if there's one thing I get from reading widely about science and stories, it's that it fuels connections between the wider world, and it really fires the imagination. If you look at some of the curriculum points and ask yourself, is there a book or a text I could look into here? How might I link the book or the characters into a science investigation, for example, to give it a different context or meaning, or try and incorporate art or history or geography? Top tip number 4, avoid choosing a book by its cover or indeed by its title. If there is a keyword in the title of a book, that doesn't necessarily mean it will be suitable for that particular topic. So for example, if we look at this book here, which is On a Beam of Light, you might be tempted to think that the book will heavily be focused on the light and the speed of light, or perhaps properties of light. And you're right, light does get a mention, but the book itself actually explores so much more than the topic of light. It's about Einstein's brilliance, how he thinks, how he questions, and it's linked beautifully to his theory of relativity. But light is only very briefly mentioned, and perhaps won't really enhance a child's understanding of the speed of light. So I would select an alternative or an additional text to use. Top tip 5, make time for sharing. Whichever books you decide to use in your classroom, make sure you make the time to share them. Give children a taste of a book if you can, perhaps a short passage which you know will entice them. Let them know they can have access to that book and see what impact that might have. Let children talk about the books they have or that you've used and what it's reminded them of, what other texts it's reminded them of, and do they have any links to films or other things that they've read or heard about in the news. Bringing books into science provides an opportunity to develop so much academic language and tier 2 vocabulary, which is what we're going to look at in the next video.